Hi there, this is Life Repair. Now, my friend Barbara's been after me about doing a video on how to filter rainwater. But I went a little bit step farther and not just showing you how to filter rainwater, also about purifying. And I'm not just going to talk about it, I want to show you diagrams. Now, one of the basic diagrams here is, of course, here is 355-gallon drums, containers. And then, of course, you see it running off there, and then you're going to see right here at the spout. So what you're going to see is 3 pipes, all this here, and then, of course, there is right there where your water faucet will be on this platform. Now, what you want to do here, you know those little catchers you can go in the hardware, and you can buy them for the sinks that catches the vegetable, as well as some of those coffee filter ones, those little metal ones, the mash ones, you can use it to place in here. Now, that will catch trash and stuff goes in it. You'll need to clean it out from time to time and check on it. But also, if you wanted to, it depends on how many of them. You know those round bleach bowl things that you get to put in your toilet. You don't want the one that has the blue dye. You want the clear one, just a cheap, generic brand one is suitable. And you don't have to put the whole thing in there, but it depends on how many you've got. You can put a piece of one. You can break it up in 4 sections or whatever. So when it rains, what it'll do is that little piece of the filter of the bleach will help purify this and prevent algae from forming in the containers. So you don't have to put a whole lot in it. Now, this one here is, of course, the basic diagram as I'm talking to you about is the basic filter. You can make your own if you want to, if you're mechanically inclined, and you put it in the top. Again, this here is the basic same principle here. This one here just is in the center, and then you got it on each side where the water will come here. So it will catch the trash. You will filter it out in that situation. And if you want to, you can fix here on each side shut-off valves to separate in case something happens and something springs a leak in one of them, so you do not lose all your water in that situation until you can patch up that overall container in that. And if you want to, you can put spouts on all 3 of them if you want to. But the catcher does catch a lot of the leaves, the trash, and everything go through the spout on that situation here. So, this one here is the basic 5-gallon bucket deal. What you got here is your 5-gallon bucket. You got one here on the bottom. That's the clean water. Here's the one on top. And you can take a couple pieces of wood and put on each side where the 5-gallon bucket will fit. And you want to place a few holes in it. Now, if you want to use like if you got an oven grill or whatever it is, a wire thing you can put over it, that works just as fine on it. So what it is, you're going to put the little hole. So what you're doing is you're putting rocks, charcoal, and sand in it. Now, in the area, if you don't have these particular ingredients, if you don't have sand on hand, that's okay. You can just use rocks and charcoal. For me, I would rather do the rocks, the charcoal, and then small rocks up here on top. If I did not have the sand, the smaller the rocks, the better to help filter. So what will happen is as you pour the water in the top here, and it filters through, you will get clean water down here. Now you can, so that's for your use in your home, and on that situation, I would recommend boiling it afterwards in a situation. Now this here is what the pioneers did back in the day before they had indoor plumbing. Back in the day, they didn't sit there and worry about taking a bath every doggone day. They didn't have showers and all that stuff, and they didn't have tons of clothes as a general rule. They might have had a couple outfits or 3 if they was lucky. Some of them just had that one outfit they wore. But what they would do in a situation here, the rain barrel would be built, would be fixed. Right here is the planks would be put right along here. For that, so they would have the water down here. However, you can fix it up right up in here, however you want to choose. And then they would have their little cork right here, or their turn-offs about, but they would then again follow the same principle. They would use rocks, charcoal, and sand if they had it. Again, if you don't have sand, you simply use the larger rocks here. Put some smaller ones in it. Use your charcoal, and you can make your own charcoal. That's not hard to make. And then you would want to put smaller rocks here to help filter through. So when the rain would hit, the water in top here would be settling, and it would run through the charcoal filter down in to the bottom here. So they would have filtered drinking water and things, cooking water for making coffee and things in that area. Now, I don't know particularly. I seen a picture showing using the whole thing, but I think in all actuality, they probably just turned around and went up a little higher, and depends on how big the barrel was that they was using. Now, you will see those big, huge industrial things that you'll see in factories where they've had oil or detergents or whatever, and they have the metal all the way around. You can use those, and you can fix you've got your hole here, and you got there. You could add 2 or 3 of them together if you want to. And then the top part, you can put your basket in the top part to filter it. And since it is a much larger container, you can most likely put a whole piece of the bleach tablet in that to help keep this clean, or half of one, whatever you choose to do through trial and error, figuring it out. Now, this here is the charts that I made here. This is the first one. So this one here is talking about bleach, and it's talking about using for a gallon of bleach, a fourth a cup is 18 drops, and that's if it's cloudy. Fourth a teaspoon, excuse me. 1/8 teaspoon is 8 drops if the water is clear. But even after you do that, the bleach taste can kind of still be in there. You might want to try to heat it, filter it again through some a coffee filter or something like that to maybe filter out some more of that bleach taste, or heat it up. Now remember, when you boil it, you're going to lose some. Now the next technique is, of course, boiling that to eliminate and kill the bacteria. Now you got to remember, you're going to lose some of the water once you boil it to remove the overall bacteria in it. But remember, the heavy metals and some of the other stuff, the trash, will still be in that if you got things that's still solid. Now, you have another one here is the purifying tablets. You have the drops and you have the pills. Now, you've got the most common one is iodine and chlorine. Now, the thing is, and it'll give you directions on, but on here is talk about iodine can cause problems. If you can read my chicken scratch a little bit, the sun's kind of in here. I'm trying to read it backwards, but it's talking about pregnant women and women who are 50 plus. It's also talking about people who has a problem with the thyroids, and on certain medication is check with your doctor on it before you use these type of tablets if you have problems with iodine. Now another thing is, of course, is the filter. It's using a filter here to get out the heavy trash that's in there, to also to help clean the water even better in that situation there. Now, and then here is this one right here is, don't y'all just love my chicken scribble awkward? Actually, I could do a whole lot better, but I was doing this at work because I promised my friend. Now, this here is an ultraviolet pen. What you do with the ultraviolet pen is for your glass, you lower this piece here in, and when it turns green on it, you stir it around, and once the green light goes out, then it is safe to drink. What it does, it kills the bacteria in the water. The bacteria may still be floating around there, but that bacteria is dead, and it's no longer harmful to you. So this here you can use and have it in a situation. Another one here is using bark, like a birch or things that does peel off the trees, and fix it in a cone shape to create you a filter system if you don't have no jugs or anything on hand. And it's the basic same principle with rocks, charcoal, and sand. If you don't have sand, like I said, you put kind of the larger rocks here, and then charcoal, and then some smaller rocks there. And if you want to add a little more charcoal on top, you can too. And then you want to make sure the piece here is exposed to filter the water out. Now, there is other things to consider. You can buy filtered jugs. You can buy the filters in the store. these water filtering companies. What I would do in a situation like that, if you got the money to do it and you're concerned about it, a lot of people are, always make sure you keep 2 extra filters on hand, if at all possible, in your budget. And you might not be able to. But if you choose to keep a couple extra filters, make sure you write the date down on the box when you purchase it, so you will keep it rotated out on it. And I always try to keep at least 2 extra filters on hand, because if something happens, a storm comes up, water gets contaminated, or whatever it is, you never know what is going to happen. There is other ways of filtering your water in an emergency situation. You can use cotton balls. You can use coffee filters if you have to. You can use cheesecloths to help filter some of the water out. People have used grass to filter stuff out. So there's a variety of ways of purifying your water and filtering your water out. For people who just doesn't like the fluoride, they got hard water in the household, they use filter all the time. So that is something you need to think on right there. So this in here is just, like I say, a good variety of things here. I wanted to share this. I like to say my little graphs here. I think sometimes it's better to show the graphs than to just here. Like I say, there's simple principles on them. Really simple. The ultraviolet pen is something I think I would like to get a hold of. I knew about the ultraviolet thing, but I really didn't think about a pen being made for a small thing. You could also buy a larger one. There is hand pump filters that's got charcoal in them things. You could also buy the ultraviolet filters to add onto your wells and things like that to help filter that out. You could also, if you're collecting rainwater or things in that area, you could also use a combination of the filters. If you got someone can build it, you can use a small part of the bleach if you want to kind of filter. You can still use the 3-technique filter system and changing it out from time to time, as well as the ultraviolet filter. So this is Live Prepper here. Kept my word, Barbara. I finally got it done. I want you to be safe, be happy. Bless you all.